computer just takes a few seconds to load. We're doing a new streaming platform, which is cool, much nicer.
Mm-hmm.
You reconnected it, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
All right.
Hey, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. This is show 49. We are broadcasting live from the Birmingham Palladium. Of course, fourth floor. A lot of people wonder about that, where we are, but we are on the fourth floor of the Imagine Palladium in Birmingham, and we are so grateful for their team, of course. This is a show where we brew up topics from a woman's point of view, and originally, I was going to tell you about something funny that happened to me on Friday. I had like the Uber drive from hell. And it was super scary. His door was taped up. I had originally ordered a pet Uber. Who knew that was a thing? But it took me, my destination was just 15 minutes away, and it took me 45 minutes. It was really kind of crazy. I was texting my friends that I was meeting for dinner, and I was kind of like, you know what, maybe I should share my destination with you or share my route with you, because it was kind of weird. So anyway, I made it. All those seasons of Law and Order SVU, 26 seasons of that came up to me, and I was thinking as I was texting everyone, I think I'll see you in 10 minutes. And then my time just kept changing, and it was like, I'll see you in 20 minutes. So I was, in short, pretty late for my own birthday dinner. So it turned out to be a great evening. I was super grateful for that. But that was just something funny that happened. And they told me when I got to dinner that you should always check the license plate number, which I was kind of embarrassed to do that. I wasn't thinking, I'm like all sketchy walking around his car, checking out the license. But once I gotten in and he really didn't say a word, and then he turned his radio up, I was like, oh, I should have checked his license plate number. So anyway, just a little tidbit there. But what I really wanted to talk about is I don't often wear my glasses because when I get stressed, high pressure goes up. And so I'm pretty self-conscious about it. But you know what? So I'm wearing my glasses. But the reason I mention this is because life can get tough, right? I've got 12-year-old twins. I think they're really like 16 in dog years or something, because it is crazy. They are like off the chain. So it has been super stressful for me. And honestly, the show, we've transitioned and it's been super exciting, but we've got a bunch of female entrepreneurs here today. And I just thought, you know what? I'm going to be honest and admit that, wow, sometimes life is hard. So that is why Uber drive from hell. And we're in Michigan today, right? It was raining. All has arrived. So the sun was out when I peeked my head out of the theater just a minute ago. So anyway, that is my little, I guess. I don't know. Thank you so much for being with us. I am excited. So Dr. Michelle Barr is here with me, and also Asha Morel Ferguson. She is the Chief Development Officer for COTS. We'll talk about COTS in just a moment. But Michelle, it is a pleasure to meet you in person. Thank you so much. Of course, you have this new book out, and this is kind of why I brought up everything too, because loving what's next, what you want can be yours now. And how long has this book been in the making?
This book has been in the making. It's been my own personal journey and then my work with my clients. And the book just came out October 1st, but it's been a long decades of living it and then teaching it before I put it into the book.
And, I was up pretty much all night last night reading this. And as you can see, I've got my pink tabs on there. That's in honor of Shades of Pink Foundation, of course, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. But part one, and this is so interesting to me because part one says, decide what you want. And I can tell you years ago, after my previous husband had died, and I lived in California, and I was walking on the beach, and I was with a friend, and he kind of looked at me and he said, listen, man, what do you want? And I kind of stopped for a minute, and I was like, you know what? I want to go back into broadcasting. I love it. It's where my passion is. And he said, okay, so do it. And that's where it all started for me again. So decide what you want is is key.
It is. That's what I was going to say. It sounds really simple, but you can't do any of the rest of it until you decide what you want. And that means what you really want, your desires, tapping back into them, not what everybody else wants for you or what you think you should
I
want.
was just going to, or what you think you should do.
What you should want, what you should do, what you can't want.
Right? I want to go to Paris. Does that count?
Yes, I had a client that wanted that. Now she leads retreats in Paris.
Really?
I said, why are you not going to Paris?
Yes. Yeah. It seems so simple. So,
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and read this. I got your permission to do that.
Yes.
Okay. So chapter 1, are you receiving data or inspiration? And it says, it takes a lot of energy to create what you desire. And for most people, this means clearing and cleaning the mental and emotional clutter that is jamming up your channels. And this not only takes its toll on you mentally and emotionally, but it also settles into the physical and starts creating all kinds of dis-ease. So disease, but dis-ease. Thus the I, right?
Yes.
Honestly.
Stress starts,
Yes.
that dis-ease and that stress in your body. And if you stress it long enough, it turns into disease.
Mhm. So this book is based on you
Yes.
and your experiences. So when somebody comes to you, a client, and they say, where do I start? What is the first thing you say to them?
The first thing I do is we tap into their desires because I trust your desires 100%. And I learned to trust my desires. And people don't want to get clear on their desires because they don't think they're possible. We start with the desires, and then we also look at what's showing up in your life that you don't want. So I ask you, what do you want to create and what do you want to resolve?
So what about intuition? Does that come into play?
It really does. I've always been very intuitive, and it's the beginning of that chapter. You're always receiving information either as data, your brain is a computer, and it just goes back and finds what it already knows, or inspiration. Once you clear the mental and emotional clutter, you learn to trust your desires because they're bubbling up from your soul. And then you learn to use your intuition, not just your mind.
So I kind of just lost my train of thought because I was so into what you were saying. But Asha, what do you have any questions for Michelle?
So I don't have questions, but I just am so empowered and inspired by what you're sharing. And it makes me think about the work that we do, and even this premise of being able to give people power to tap into their dreams and to really realize what's possible, so that they get beyond this impossible space of I can't do that because it's just out of reach, to actually reach out and try to grasp it anyway, and to get support in doing that. So that's outstanding.
It's exactly that. It's trusting that you can have what you want. And like I said, what you want can be yours now, but you have to be willing to dream, like you're saying.
And that's what COTS does. You guys inspire families to dream, right?
We do. Our goal really is to help families understand what is possible and to create opportunities that they can embrace and then succeed and thrive. And so it starts with them, And so this is the perfect conversation.
It does. It always starts with us. Other people can get on board or not, but we have to hold it first. Nobody else will.
Okay, so here's a question. What about the stuff when you get rid of that clutter? I have found that that's when other stuff comes up.
It does.
And it's kind of triggering. I mean, I don't like that word per se, but I mean, it is. It just all of a sudden you're like, wow, that did happen. And now what?
I do use that word. I'm a former therapist, so I'm aware of that in my coaching and in my book. Is I call it your stuff coming up, and it does, and it's layers, and it's a process, because you can have whatever you want, but then what you're shown is what is getting in your way that has to be cleared, healed, and resolved so you can move forward. And that's why it's coming up. But people misread it sometimes as I can't have it, I shouldn't, not now.
I don't deserve it.
God said no.
Mhm.
I don't deserve it.
Right.
And really, it's just showing you what needs to be resolved and cleared and healed.
Okay, so this is interesting. So a letter to the universe. And I brought everyone in the audience a piece of paper today. There's no envelopes, but I did bring everyone a piece of paper because I wanted them to be able to write this letter that you talk about to the universe, because it's a tool of, you're kind of putting it out there of what so talk about this letter.
It is, because once you start writing, you go what's in your mind, and then you get into that deeper stuff. And I've used this letter a long time. A coach of mine taught it to me, and you can do it over and over. And you're writing a letter in real time, in the present, of what you want to be, do, and have. And you write the letter to the universe, setting your intentions. And then you put the letter in an envelope and you put it away, and it will start working in your life. And you pull it back out later, and you will read all the things that have been going on to lead you to create what you desire. It's inside of you, but you've got to bring it forward. It's intuitive form of writing.
Okay, so you say to put the letter away for 3 days, right? So write it today and then put it away for 3 days. And then what do you do?
And then you pull it back out and you read it, and it activates in you. You see what you wrote in that space. And then I always put the letter away for 6 months or a year. And when I pull it back out, I see all the things I created. And I also see the reasons why things were showing up in my life to help me create it.
Okay. Isn't that amazing?
Yes,
It is. So, okay, so you are in town. You're not from Michigan,
No,
right? So you're in town. You have a book signing coming up on Wednesday.
I do on
Okay.
Wednesday.
Okay, and that's in Royal Oak, Alabama.
Royal Oak.
Okay, and this book, like I said, I was up almost practically all night reading it. I was so inspired. But I have one more question for you. Will you sign it for me?
Yes, I will.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And while Michelle Barr is signing her book for me, Asha, you are the Chief Developmental Officer for COTS. We talked about that for a minute, but you have a big brunch coming up.
We do.
But it's sold out.
It is. It is. It actually sold out over the weekend, and we were excited about that. But sorry that we don't have tickets
No,
left.
that's okay.
But there's opportunities to still connect and engage with COTS in other ways. But hearing Michelle talk about loving what's next and the power of coaching and support and really dreaming and grasping what you desire is what COTS is all about. And
So if you were to sum up COTS in one sentence, what would it be for someone who's not familiar with it?
creating opportunities to succeed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's simple.
Yeah, creating opportunities to succeed. There are families that deal with homelessness and housing instability, and a variety of different things that create that situation. So whether it's situational circumstances, whether it's a house fire, those things are more minimal for families that we serve. But a lot of times it's generational poverty. And so the challenge that we have is being able to help them to dream, help them to understand that stability is possible and that they deserve it. And so,
And I think that's key. The whole, so often people go through life and they don't think that they deserve
Yeah.
anything good, even if something really horrible has happened
Yeah.
to them.
Yeah.
They get into that mindset. And
Yeah.
the fact that you're teaching families that
Absolutely.
is amazing.
Absolutely. And the challenge is that a lot of them have dealt with various different traumas or circumstances that have limited their ability to see beyond where they currently are. And so that's our goal, is to coach them along that, support them through that, and then help desire and to establish for their children. And so the parents, it's often on the children as this has an impact on theirs in school. It has their impact on even personal themselves. And so being able to encourage them to see how amazing they are and that they can do whatever they set their hearts and minds to do, just as Dr. Michelle said.
And one thing that I have found out, hi Linda,
Hi.
throughout the years is that you mentioned homelessness and how that affects children, but the whole idea that there are so many kids without beds.
Absolutely.
This is a problem that we never really talk about very
Yeah.
much. And it's so shocking to realize that there's so many children that do not have an actual bed to sleep on. So they're either on a couch, they could be in a car, they could be on the floor.
Absolutely.
And how that affects your mindset.
Absolutely. If we think about how not getting a good night's sleep affects us as working adults,
Right.
and how it stresses us out.
Right, for sure.
Imagine that for a child that's trying to go to school to get their education. Imagine that for a child that's just trying to focus on what it is that they're being taught and learning in school, but they're exhausted. And sometimes that shows up in their personalities and their character as they show up at school. And oftentimes they're disciplined for it or, chastised for it. And really it's a bigger issue. It's something that's beyond their control.
So for cuts, do you need volunteers?
We always can use volunteers.
so
Right
volunteers.
now, it's our season to be able to share most like needed items with families, and
Okay.
so we're hoping that
Give me
people
the
will be
list, man.
willing
Come
to
on.
donate toys.
We have a lot of people here.
Yeah,
The
so right
holidays
now,
are coming up, right?
Toys, diapers,
Okay.
pajamas for children, socks and undergarments. Those are the things that we really have a great need for.
So what sizes are we talking?
I would say all sizes.
All
So we
sizes,
serve
okay.
children, families of all structures, but we have children from ages 0 all the way up to 18.
Okay.
I would say that the biggest population that we have are children under the age of 10.
Okay.
And so if donors are willing to donate diapers, sizes 4, 5, and 6 are most needed because those are the ones that we.
Those
don't
the
get as
Walker
much.
diapers. It's
The
been so long
walkers,
for me.
yes.
I can't remember.
Your walker diapers, the training pants, things of that nature.
Okay.
And then the pajamas of all sizes, just to give kids cozy pajamas to be able to rest.
Oh, yes, I love cozy.
Yeah.
What about for the adults?
Same.
What do they need? Same.
So undergarments, socks, sleepwear,
Okay.
as well for our adults, sheets, towels, things of that nature.
Okay. Household items and
Household-
everything.
Well, yeah,
Or-
I would say toiletries.
Okay. Oh,
Those
okay.
types of items like body wash, shampoo,
Toothbrushes.
conditioner, toothbrushes, toothpaste.
Okay.
Yeah,
So everyday necessities that
Absolutely.
we probably take for granted.
absolutely.
Right, so-
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. So
Thank
how do
you.
people get in touch with you?
They can visit us online at cotsdetroit.org.
Okay. And they can volunteer, donate.
Absolutely.
And what if somebody needs help?
if they need help, we ask them to reach out to us. If you need immediate housing or immediate shelter, the number is 313-305-0311.
Okay. Say it one more time.
313-305-0311 is the number if you are in need of emergency shelter.
Okay. Thank you so much. Such
Thank
a
you.
pleasure to
Thank you
talk
for
to
having
you.
me.
Oh, yes. And she brought her niece. It was so exciting. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And now Linda Levy is here. And I was
Hi.
teasing Linda earlier because I'm like, you have got a long title.
voting since Michigan voters passed the Promote the Vote ballot proposal in 2022. And we have a huge focus on getting out the young vote. It actually fits right what we were talking about when you started your program on showing them that this is possibilities.
Yes.
And we show possibilities by getting out and voting and on issues. And that's what we talk about. We talk about the issues. It is not about candidates or parties. It is about safeguarding rights and freedoms. And we have a particular focus on women, children, and families through a Jewish lens. And right now we are really just talking about the mechanics of voting because things have changed.
Right. Okay. So, Election Day is November 5th.
Yes, it
It's
is
coming-
23 days
yes,
away.
It is coming up. So, what do people need to know as we get closer and closer to the actual day?
So one of the things that have changed, first of all, we have a campaign that we actually created for the 2020 election that we call Let's Both Vote, which takes getting out to vote just a step further because it's very interactive.
Mhm.
So we reach out to family members, friends, to make sure that they're registered to vote. And particularly for young people, we want to take them every step of the way to inform them of how to do things, assist them, and follow up. So we want to be sure that people know that registering to vote can be done online by October 21st at the latest, which is important for young people because they do a lot of things online.
Right, for sure.
Whereas after that, the clerk's office is the place to go to register to vote. We also want to be sure that now everyone knows that we have 3 ways that you can vote in Michigan. We have, of course, the polls, which a lot of people like to go to
Mhm.
on election day and cast their votes. In 2018, we made absentee ballots available to everyone. And so that was something we educated on in
Yeah,
2020.
people were confused about that.
Correct. And it became, now they're kind of used to that, but
Mhm.
now we have a third way. You can do early voting. And sometimes people don't understand the difference between an absentee ballot and early voting because they're going, well, I filled out my absentee ballot. Isn't that early voting? And it is. But early voting is actually going to fill out your ballot and put it through the tabulator immediately. So it is the same process that happens on election day, but it is not counted until election day.
Okay.
And it is important to know that that starts on October 26th, and to reach out to your local clerks to find out where, because you're not going to your polling place
Right.
for it. You need to find out where that opportunity
Okay. So you
is.
mentioned 2 important dates so far. You mentioned October 21st.
Correct.
Okay. So that is for,
That is for registering online. And
Okay.
after that, you go to the clerk's office.
okay. And then October 26th.
6th is when early voting starts.
Okay. And then, of course, November 5th is the actual election. The polling
That's a
places.
good, important day.
Right? That's a good day. You want to get that
Very
sticker, right?
important
You want to
date.
get that sticker. So, the program that you mentioned that you started, it kind of seems like the buddy system to me.
It is exactly the buddy system, because sometimes when someone is new to voting, they're not sure what they're doing, reaching out and walking them through it. Or if they're not sure they can register online, making an appointment with your family member to go to the Secretary of State's office with them. It just gives them that security to go, and you can make it a fun day with lunch or
Oh, yes. We love lunch. Maybe even coffee.
or ice cream. Coffee would be great after. And then to make a plan to vote is very important. A lot of people think, oh yeah, okay, I'll vote. But if you have an absentee ballot and you feel some of these ballots are long,
Yes.
and you're
And
not
confusing,
familiar,
right?
right? And you need time to look through them. If you put it aside, sometimes you're surprised at how fast time has gone by and you haven't filled your ballot out. So make a plan, put it on your calendar to actually make a plan to vote, how you're going to vote, when you're going to vote, and then we follow up with them
Oh,
to
okay.
make sure that they still have it on their calendar,
Right.
and that they actually have followed through. I
Okay,
should say
with-
not fallen,
right.
but followed through.
Follow through with the actual process.
Correct. So
Okay.
they have voted.
So can people reach out to you and get more information, or?
We did 2 webinars
Yeah.
over the course of this past year. One was with Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson, Oakland County Brown, and West Bloomfield Clerk Debbie Binder in Jan. That was recorded. It is on our website. We did another one in September with Mackenzie Walls from Promote the Vote, and they are very nonpartisan as well. It's
Mhm.
just about the process. And that has also been recorded and is on our website. So if you go to our website, ncjwmi.org, you can scroll down to previous programming, and all of that information on how and where and dates on voting are available.
Okay. Such a pleasure for you for running these dates down, because and it gets kind of overwhelming. And I think sometimes people get so overwhelmed that they decide they're not going to do anything.
Correct.
Right,
And we
and-
want them to do action.
Right. And every vote counts. Right. And so you can't think that it doesn't.
Correct. And as we said, it's the possibilities of how you'd like your country to be. This is when we express our values.
Right. And just one more quick question. The idea of parents leading by example for their kids.
It is a great thing to say, because I will tell you, I now am a poll worker, and I'm also going to encourage people, if they do vote early or by absentee ballot, then volunteer to be a poll worker. They need people. And as a poll worker, it is so exciting to see parents bring their young children
Mhm.
to see the process before they can vote. But it is even more exciting to see those first-time voters who are
Oh,
putting
yeah.
their ballot
They're
in
doing
the
it, man.
tabulator,
They're
and they
doing
get
it.
the "I voted" sticker, and they're
And-
the first people to say, "I want that
Right.
I voted" sticker.
I think I think we have a question. Jasmine.
Oh, hi.
So I was really just thinking about it after I was over here and you recap everything. Do you have any advice for maybe like a first-time voter who's maybe a little bit intimidated by the entire process and all the people and where they're supposed to go and things like that?
Thank you for that question. I would say First of all, if they have a family member they can reach out to help them, that's great. Otherwise, our clerks are wonderful. You just walk into a clerk's office, you tell them that you are a first-time voter. They will make sure you have your ballot. If you have any questions on how to fill it out, they will help you. If you think you made a mistake, you can spoil your ballot and do it over. They are extremely helpful people.
Awesome.
And that would be a great place to start.
And I guess my last question is I know this sounds very silly, but is there anything specific that a first-time voter needs to bring with them?
If you should have your ID with you. If you are registering online, you will have they'll walk you through that process. But if you go to a clerk's office with an ID, you make sure you have your ID with you.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, thank you so
And
much.
that can be a driver's license or state issued ID.
Sure, just some type of identification.
Correct.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, I think we have another question.
Hi there. Do you have any written resources on the website that you can direct people to read information about this?
That actually, we have some written that they can go to our office or reach out to our offices. We have a lot of written information that we'll be happy to send them
Okay.
or to deliver to them if they're in town. We're happy
And
to
what
do
about
that.
the website? What's the
On the
address?
website, ncjwmi.org, there we have all the information from our webinars. And we do have some of our Let's Both Vote campaign information reaching out to people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Linda, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time and such an important, it's an important time, right?
It is. So
an
I
important
so
time.
appreciate your having me today.
Oh, no, I'm just sorry we missed those webinars, but no, I'm glad that we can go back and watch them. So that's good. So thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate it. And of course, Jenna Bright-Grieman has been sitting here. Thank you
Yes.
so much. Jenna, you are the Shades of Pink Foundation co-president,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
And we did not meet the other day, but I was at the comedy night.
Yes.
So I heard you speak briefly, but you are also an attorney
Yes, I am.
and you deal with healthcare.
Correct. I do healthcare law. I do medical malpractice on the defense side. So my job for over 25 years is representing physicians and care providers and hospitals in various actions that come against them. But part and parcel of that job is also interacting with the care providers in the hospitals and strangely enough, being privy to and seeing firsthand some of the stressors that come about on cancer patients, but in particular breast cancer patients.
And why do you think it's more so breast cancer patients as opposed? I mean, everyone is stressed when they have that diagnosis, but for some reason, I think because, and I don't know if this is right, but maybe because it's women and women take care of so much.
Yeah.
Can I say that? Is that fair?
I think that's absolutely fair, Brooke. Women tend to take on a lot, as we know, and I don't think that's being stereotypical. It's sometimes part of the nature of us women.
Mhm.
And with breast cancer, one of the things that I've researched and found out through the years, in Michigan alone, 1 out of 8 women each year will be diagnosed with breast cancer. Okay. And 50% of those women will experience some sort of, I think as Esha was mentioning, situational circumstances or financial stress. And it does not equate, most people are surprised to know, it does not equate directly to whether or not they have a job, whether or not they may be educated to a certain degree, whether or not they're married or single. It can be completely dependent on what type of cancer they have, what stage and severity they're diagnosed with, and what their situation may be. And Shades of Pink Foundation, as you know, Brooke, you've been great in supporting our foundation. It works directly and locally in Michigan to support all of those women that are diagnosed with breast cancer and have those stressors with everyday expenses, medical bills, sometimes just expenses with transportation. You were referring to your Uber ride from hell last week,
Right.
but it can be something as simple as that.
Right. And something that we actually kind of laugh about
Yeah.
can be a very serious thing for
Yeah.
people who need this treatment and can't always get there. So
Exactly.
Shades of Pink Foundation helps that, helps take care of those everyday bills, and they do it in such a timely fashion. And I think that's important to note.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that we try to get the word out for, just as by way of background, we're going on our 20th year in 2025. Yay. So we have a goal of raising $1 million. And the reason why I got involved in this, and I was very humbled to be asked and be nominated and selected as co-president for this organization, is because you immediately see the money that is raised translated literally immediately, pretty immediate, to the women in our communities that need that help. So by way of example, most women that have breast cancer, obviously, if they're treating at one of the various facilities, and I don't know if I mentioned, but we started out smaller and very localized, but it now covers 9 different counties in Michigan, which is great. And as I mentioned before, it's all Michigan, it's all local. So this organization goes directly here to the women in our communities, which I think is really important. Not that women in other communities and other states don't need that support,
Right, for sure.
but it's a great organization
Right.
that,
Because sometimes you
maintains
don't know if your money is staying local, and that's important to people.
Exactly. And so the women that are diagnosed with breast cancer, no matter what their stage and the type of treatment they might need, they're usually paired with a social worker, a nurse navigator at our various health institutions. It's through those individuals that can help put them in contact, or at least give us their information to tell us about their immediate needs. A mortgage payment that frankly, they're concerned about, do I pay the mortgage payment? Do I pay my utility bills versus the medical bills that my insurance isn't going to cover right now for care and treatment? Transportation costs, as I said. And so what we do as an organization, I say monthly, but it's literally on a day-to-day and weekly basis, is we take a look at that information that we receive from those contacts and connections in the healthcare field to see who has a need, who needs it right now, and we try to dispense those funds as soon as possible to help people out so that they can hopefully get rid of a little bit of stress during this very stressful time in their life.
And then help them heal.
Yeah.
Right. And help them heal.
Absolutely.
So Linda Schlesinger Wagner is here, the founder of Skinny Teas. I don't know if do you guys know each other?
Well,
I don't, but
we've
I-
worked with Shades of Pink.
Okay. All right.
Yes, and I
can't
love
say-
your products.
And
so-
we love what
so-
you do.
And so we love, of course, since 2016, right?
Mhm.
Skinny Teas has been supporting a woman who's going through breast cancer treatment. And Robbie
Robbie
is the woman
yes.
of October, right?
She sure is.
Okay. So I love polka dots and I love this.
I know you love
I know,
it.
I know,
We
I
talk
know,
about this.
yes,
She
but-
does love polka dots, this girl.
But okay, so tell me the importance of this campaign for you.
Well, for us and my team who's here today, it's a feel good. I mean, we all know that it feels really good to help someone. And we now Michigan, we didn't at first, we stayed. And I think, like you just said, it's people think insurance covers everything. Insurance doesn't cover everything. And I don't care what your walk of life is or what kind of insurance you have. We raise money. We don't care what the person does with it. Like it can be a mortgage payment. It can be, I don't care if they take their family on vacation. I really don't. And for us, it's a feel good. And we know we're making a difference to one woman. And it's all a network thing. Like it's
How do-
this particular one, Robbie, the woman we had last, and the same for the one before her. You know, once you're a thing, women support really do. And it don't necessarily even know each other to meet up and know each other in the street, but it's Facebook or a text or this is what they're telling me I have to do. Has anybody had this treatment? And it is a great resource for all of these women. So Robbie is a Michigan woman. She's in her early 40s. This was found from a self-exam.
Wow.
She's just feeling it in a little tiny bump she felt. And she now is, she will be having reconstruction, but this just happened in April.
Oh,
I
okay,
mean,
so
we
brand new.
connected with her right off the bat. We call her a warrior woman.
Mhm.
I mean, she really is. She's strong. She's a teacher locally. She was in theater. out in California for years, then moved back here, and she's teaching theater and loves the kids, and through theater can bring so much to people and not make this so frightening for her own children. You know, it's scary. It's really a scary thing. So she said, we call her our warrior women, but these women that we help stay with our Skinny Teas
I love
family.
this.
You know,
Yes,
they
I do.
stay with our
Yes.
family because we send little gifts. We have the chief gift wrapper here, Arlene, and the girls, Nancy and Hillary, who decide like, oh, well, maybe we should send them this, or
Right. And you
know,
have your own
flowers.
community. I mean,
Right.
that's, you know, you
It's just like, you know, you just don't forget them after that. We
Right.
keep them, we keep them in the nest. They're
Mhm.
part of our team now. And just little acts of kindness, little random acts of kindness, but it sure must feel good to get something.
for sure.
And you may be having a crappy day
Mhm.
and look, it's from the Skinny Teas team.
Yeah.
You know, a candle, some stationery. It's always feel good things.
Right. But it makes a huge difference.
Makes a
because
big
they know
difference.
that they're
We
being thought
know
about.
it makes a
Right.
big difference.
Okay, so you are wearing it. It's also on.
I'm
you're
wearing it.
It's also on
this
the mannequin, and it's
We
polka
have one
dots.
here,
Oh,
pink with polka
Pink
dots.
with
Every
polka
year
dots.
we do a different one.
Let me-
Every year we do a
open
different
it,
one,
let me open it.
and we keep it in our lineup so you can buy it. But you can buy it less this month. It's only $12. These
So-
are
so
usually
cute.
36 because we want to raise money for her.
Right.
And
Right.
you can go to skinnyteas.com and it tells all about Robbie
Mhm.
and how you buy this. And please buy it because we want to raise money for her. Besides, it's a great shirt.
It is a great shirt.
It's a great shirt.
It's a great
It's
shirt.
a great tank.
It's a great tank.
It's a happy tank.
It is a happy tank.
Yeah.
And okay, so you are going to keep this in the rotation.
It's gonna be in the
right? It is going to be in the
rotation forever,
rotation. So
right.
that is awesome. But at the end of October, you will write Robbie a check.
We write her a
Skinny Teas
check
will write her
a
a
couple
check,
days
right?
later,
Right,
but we write
right.
her a check. I personally pay the taxes on it, so
Right.
there's no tax on it for her. It's a gift.
It is a
It's
gift.
a feel good gift,
Right.
right?
And it is just so important to give back. And you are one of the women in my life, and I know many women sitting here know this about you. Jasmine knows it too. She met you back in the summer. You are a woman that walks the talk, and
I do.
you do.
We
And
do. We do.
Yes, you do as a team. You do individually. You do so much. So, from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you.
Thank
always.
you.
You always
I love you.
pick up my phone calls. And she's like, "What's happening with you? Calm down. Slow your roll, man."
Yeah, we do that.
Yes. So thank you. So I want to say on a personal level, thank you so much for everything you do. And I know Robbie appreciates you. And I know even Jasmine, who met you back in the summertime, you were able to give her some wisdom, give her some wisdom.
100%,
Right?
absolutely.
Right. So
Right.
because obviously 586 Organics, a different kind of line, a skincare line, and jewelry, which I can't wait to look at. But we all have something to learn from each other.
We do. We do. It's the networking.
Yes.
Absolutely the networking.
And I think that is what is important. And that's what leads to all of these caffeinated conversations.
That's
So-
right.
Okay. So where do people order these shirts?
Skinnyteas.com. Just go online.
Okay.
They're up there. You'll read all about Robbie
Mhm.
and help us raise money for her. That's what
And-
we want.
Okay. I know some people are going to say, what about the sizes?
Okay, there's two sizes. Missy, which is a one size fits a 2 to a 14,
Mhm.
and then the plus fits, I'm going to say like a 12, 14 to a 20,
Right.
22.
Okay.
They
so there is-
stretch forever.
yes, there is a tank for everyone.
There is.
There is.
There
so,
is.
so thank you so much.
Thank
Can I
you.
keep this one?
Yeah, you are keeping that one. You are. You are.
She's like, of course you want that
Yeah.
one. Of course. Thank you, Luca. I appreciate you so
always,
much.
girl. Thank you.
All right, Jasmine, you are the CEO and founder of 586 Organics.
Yes, I am.
Which I love. I use it every day. But online the other day, I saw some seasonal jewelry that you actually made.
I did.
Okay, so I hope the camera can pick this up. Do you have the masquerade ones or no?
I did bring those with me.
Did
They're just
you?
not on the table
Oh,
with me. Yes,
okay.
but I
All
did
right.
bring those for
All
you.
right. Hi,
So,
Jace.
yeah, so essentially, every year round, I try to just make things that are super one of a kind and unique. I love being able to have the same aesthetic and style as some people, but you want to go to an event, you want to stand out, you want to be unique.
Mhm.
And what other way can you do that? By supporting 586 Visuals, because I make one of a kind jewelry.
Okay, so let's Let me see.
So this one is our one-of-a-kind Halloween earrings. This just has some vintage glass beads along with some antique brass spiders. And obviously all the hardware is new. It doesn't tarnish and there's no nickel. And then my second favorite pair is going to be the spider webs. And these also have some vintage stones on them as well as some antique brass and all brand new nickel-free hardware.
Okay, so these are obviously for Halloween.
Yes.
Right? And then I mean, there's so many holidays coming. Do you do turkeys for Thanksgiving?
Absolutely. You know I have to keep Turkey Day in there.
I love it, yes. And of course, Christmas and everything.
100%.
Right?
And we even got big old disco balls for New Year's. That's coming up too.
Oh, speaking of disco balls. No.
That fits so perfect.
Didn't it?
Spruce it up a little bit,
Spruce it
right?
up a little bit. Okay, so I guess I should, Jasmine is, this is Jason from Time Warp
Yep.
Vintage, and Jasmine works with Jason,
Yes.
and they do TWL on Tuesdays,
We
which
do.
is a fabulous show. And so that's how I met Jasmine, was through Jason and 586 Organics. So this is the visuals.
Yep, 586 visuals.
And then real quick, the body products, I mean, they're amazing.
Thank you so much. I really try, honestly.
Yeah. And I know we've talked about the whole idea of packaging and, you know, you've gone through some struggles.
I sure
right?
have. It's very expensive in 2024. For our new viewers, if you tuned in last time I was on, I really just talked about the trials and the tribulations that a small business goes through when it comes to staying on trend, staying on topic, and trying to keep everybody happy when it comes to packaging.
Right. And the price,
Yes, 100%.
right? And we all know that prices have gone up for
Mhm.
everything, right? So, of course, they would go up for you as well.
Yes, but I'm really trying. I really try to be that small business that you can rely on when inflation unfortunately hits. You don't have to expect higher prices. I really try to make my margins smaller for myself if that means the prices can stay the same for you guys.
Hey, do I still have a coupon code?
100%.
Woo, woo, love that.
And if I can tell our viewers,
Of
is it okay
course,
if I let
yeah.
them know? If you guys do happen to see anything that you're interested in, you guys, and also viewing at home, you can use code CCWBA15 for 15 off your entire purchase.
What does that stand for?
Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen, just in case if you forget.
Thank you, Jasmine.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. Okay, Jason. So much going on. Of course, the store is all decked out for,
It is all decked
for
out, but
Halloween.
I gotta tell you, if you guys want to try her hand soap, every one of our restrooms, everywhere in our
so
store, it's the 586 stuff. So you could go in there and test them.
It's like my favorite color.
Mhm.
I don't have that one. What is happening?
Oh, you got to take it home
Okay.
today. You
Oh,
have
I
to.
will. I'll collect
eucalyptus.
that. I'll, what? Oh, eucalyptus,
Eucalyptus.
my favorite. Okay.
Smells good.
All right. So Time War Vintage.
Yes.
So much going on there. So
Mhm.
talk a little bit about it because we haven't talked much about Time
No, we
War
haven't.
Vintage lately.
Well, we just turned 15.
Yeah.
Can you believe that?
Woo!
15 years. Yeah, we're all decked out for Halloween. All decked out for
Mhm.
Halloween. And so I had to sport the
Of course, I love it.
this,
I love it. So, okay. So when I've been in that store many
Mm-hmm.
times and everyone, when you're just shopping and people walk in for the first time, it's so interesting because you always hear them say, and I've said it myself, oh, my grandma used to have that. Or it brings me back to that, or that Pyrex dish.
Mhm.
Or, there's so many cool things there that just, in an instant can bring a memory back. And I think that is so special, really.
I do too. I think in this day and age when it is very difficult sometimes just to get through the day, just stepping back into time,
Mhm.
into a time in which you felt, comfortable and at ease, can really help your day. We get people who come in after work and they've had a stressful day, and just walking down memory lane brings them back. It makes them feel better about their day, and I love that. Don't you think?
I also love the feeling of, I love hearing, oh my gosh, I used to have this when I was a kid, or when Steve would bring things in, and I'm like, I've been seeing this since I was like 8 years old. It makes me feel good. I love seeing other people feel good about it too.
8 years old. You're killing me, kid.
I know,
You're
right?
killing me, man.
Right?
I know you love Hello Kitty. I know
I
that
do.
much.
Hello
Yeah.
Kitty's my favorite.
And I love the trolls.
Yes, she'd have.
And I love
brought
the
one.
yeah, you brought
I
one,
brought
didn't you? Okay, so
Yeah,
there's
a little one, a little.
Oh, see,
Frankenstein.
that's how I looked this
Frankenstein
morning
one.
before I
No, stop.
So we do. We have. We specialize in 1950s, 1940s to about 2000
Mhm.
because vintage is 20 years.
Mhm.
So
Yikes.
even though
Okay, so real quick, what's the difference? The twins were arguing about this the
Mhm.
other day. The difference between antiques and vintage. What is it?
okay, when it comes to product, antiques are 100 years old. Antiques are 100 years old.
Mhm.
And so we have flipped the century. So 1920s is 100 years old, so they're antiques now.
Okay.
And vintage is 20 years. It's 20 years. So, technically, since it's 2024, 2002 can be vintage and older.
Yikes.
So you're like vintage and a half.
Ah, gosh, that sounds horrible.
But we get people in, oh, I'm antique. No, you got to be 100 years old.
Right.
In the auto industry is different because
It is
25 years is
Right.
antique for a car. But and then there's retro.
Mm-hmm.
And retro is actually brand new. It's
So
brand new
crazy.
product that is done in the style of a vintage or antique item. So
It's
when
kinda
you go
crazy.
into like Target or something, you can see all the retro colors, the
Mhm.
teal, the pink, that's retro.
Anything to add?
Honestly, it kills me sometimes when I think I found like the holy grail of something, and then I flip it over and see the words retro on the bottom, and I'm like, oh, this was totally made within the last 5 years, so it totally takes the value away from it.
But if you've never been to Time Warp Vintage, it is such a cool place. Go there, take your mom, take your grandparents. It is
Oh,
just
yeah.
a neat thing to do and find some cool sports paraphernalia. The Tigers, they
Absolutely.
almost did it, not quite, but if you want something tigerish, I'm
They
sure
did.
you got
we
it,
have.
right?
Well, it's going quick.
Is it going
because
quick? Yeah,
The
'cause-
better they do, the quicker
Right,
it goes.
right.
Of course. Speaking of retro, the Beastal Halloween, which has been around since 1920.
Mhm.
These are all retro style Halloween, based on their original designs from the 40s and 50s. Because when you find a die cut holiday decoration from the 40s and 50s, you're going to pay anywhere from $100 to $200 for it. So you're not slapping tape on it to put it on your window.
That's the
Right,
last thing you
right.
want to do.
You're
Right.
not. And so we sell the replicas
Mhm.
of those by the same company. So it's not necessarily a new company stealing their patterns. It's the original company
Original
just
company.
re-releasing
That's
their so that you can tape them and
Right.
put them up. And then keep your vintage or your antique ones inside.
Right.
So
That is so cool.
that
Okay,
type
so
of
you
thing.
guys are closed on Mondays,
we are.
which is why I have them both
Yeah.
here because I'm able to do that.
Mhm.
And then what are the hours?
Well, we Tuesdays we are 10 to 6 because we have our TWL show
Mhm.
from 6:30 to 7:30. So watch it if you can. Also we so Wednesday through Saturday we're 10 to 7 and
Okay.
Sunday 11 to 5. We are closed on Mondays. We have to rest, even though I don't. I come here and help
He comes
you.
here and helps
Same.
me. And I appreciate you both so much. Of course, Jason, you usually do our giveaway,
I do.
and we have a big one this month. It's all based
Mhm.
on Imagine.
Mhm.
So tell me what that is. One more
First, I got
time.
to tell you, I love your coffee cup.
Thank you.
Look at this.
Seasonal. Ah.
I love her
Very
coffee cup.
cute.
It's a trick or
It's
treat
a,
coffee
here
cup.
comes Linda. It's a
This
cauldron.
is all great, but where are you located?
Oh.
Oh well, thank you. Well, isn't that awful? I talk all about my store and never
We were
even
just
talk
so
about
excited
when
about
it is.
Halloween,
We are located in St. Clair Shores at 13 Harper, 31336 Harper in St. Clair Shores. You can get us on www. You don't usually say that anymore, do we?
What,
You can do it at
www?
timewarp-vintage.com and check us out because she does our internet and it's really cool. Plus, you can check out shows, Caffeinated Conversation through our website as
Yes,
well.
it's very cool. So thank you for that.
But yeah, and we just recently closed our Las Vegas location due to theft issues,
Mhm.
but we are considering reopening there as well as in San Diego, hopefully, but down the road.
One door closes and several
Some
more
there,
open.
yep, exactly. So we are doing an Imagine giveaway.
We are.
They have given us this certificate. It's for 10 of your best people
Mhm.
to watch a scary movie or a rom-com
Mhm.
or a love, whatever.
Terrifier 3.
Yes, Terrifier 3. So how do people enter to win?
So you want to go and you can do it on any of the sites. You can do it on Instagram, Facebook, the LinkedIn account. You can even send us an email on it. But you want to comment, show number, what number are we?
49.
2 away from a year. Can you believe that? 2 away from a year.
I'm not clapping for myself.
You have to. You have to.
So you want to comment show 49. You want to share the page
Mhm.
with 3 of your friends.
Right.
You want to tag them in the comments if possible.
More than 3 is also great.
Yes, of course.
15,
And then
20.
you want to, leave us a comment and
Right.
like the page, of course, because we want to make sure that we're sharing our information.
Right,
Because
for sure.
I mean, and I'm going to tell you, as we get closer to the year,
Mhm.
I'm still amazed every day that I get to come here on a Monday morning and actually talk to the public and work with Brooke, because I've known Brooke for several years.
Thank you.
And we've done a lot of public speaking together.
Mhm.
And it's been fortunate for me to be able to be a part of Caffeinated Conversations because I like it. I think it's cool.
It's pretty cool, right?
Mhm.
And we have
I
good
love
coffee.
it. Yes.
So we have great guests.
And we have great guests. Thank you so much. So listen, I just want to say thank you to
Oh.
you for everything and everyone that came here on a Monday morning. Originally, when we started the show, and I had this crazy idea, I was like, well, you know what? How about Monday mornings at 10 a.m.? And a lot of people said, that will never work. But we're 49 shows in so far. It has worked out fantastic. Fantastic. So I just want to say a big thank you to all of you that continue to watch on a weekly basis. I've got some speaking stuff coming up, so I'm excited about that. And of course, next week we have our Halfway to 100 segment coming up. And today, I don't know who knows this, but today is National Dessert Day. And I didn't have a bakery in my pocket, so I brought Twinkies. Twinkies for everybody, because everyone knows that Twinkies are special to my heart.
You're so
Jason's
cute.
looking at me like, what is happening? So a Twinkie for you. A
Oh my
Twinkie
God,
for
thank you.
Oh,
love
thank
it.
you.
I love it. You get a
Twinkies
Twinkie.
all around. You
I
get a
know.
Twinkie. A Twinkie
Throw
for
'em,
you.
yeah,
And
no.
no, I don't want to.
No, do that.
But listen, thank you so much. You want to catch? We're just gonna. Oh gosh, no, I shouldn't. Thank you so much for being with us here on this Monday. Temperatures right now in Michigan, highs of 50. So of course, like I always say, keep the coffee hot, and we'll see you next week. Thanks so much.
What speaking engagements do you have coming?
Oh, I have a lot, but I can't remember them right now.
Oh, okay. And you can also catch us on the fly if you are driving somewhere long or you just don't want to watch, you want to listen. You can check us out on
Anywhere you guys listen or
on
watch your podcast.
Spotify.
Spotify,
Odyssey,
iHeart,
iHeart,
Amazon.
Amazon
Yes,
Prime.
the kids love to ask Alexa, play Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen.
And this is streaming on
became a cool
YouTube
mom.
today
That's
as
super
well.
cool.
So
All right, we're doing
I'm
it, man.
excited.
All right.